Schroman, owner of Schroman Law, and I believe you deserve information. Our firm offers free quarterly estate planning seminars at our office in St. Paul. At these seminars, you can learn the basics of estate planning from an attorney to help you determine which estate planning documents will meet your needs and goals in an efficient and cost-effective manner. You can learn more and register at our website, schromenlaw.com/events. That's SCHROMEN law.com/events.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
Experiencing an injury or illness? Wondering if you'll be able to keep your job or when you can return to work? The Minnesota Retain program may be able to help. Participants may qualify for free support from experts who can guide you through the next steps to get you back to work quickly and safely. Visit mnretain.com or call 507-284-4537 to learn more. Minnesota Retain is fully funded under a grant awarded by the U.S. Department of Labor and the Social Security Administration. This message is brought to you by Minnesota Retain, this station, and the Minnesota Broadcasters Association.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Overnight, a chance of rain with a low of 37, then cloudy on Tuesday with a high of 41. Make this holiday season extra magical with an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant or food purveyor. Perfect for all occasions from family to friends to work gatherings. Visit eatlocalminnesota.com to see the list of restaurants and food purveyors.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous. Get up,
stand up. They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You are absolutely right, Daga. This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Support honest Native news and stories from Natives themselves. Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
Hey, Haley, can you see that I got my my Barbie, my Wilma Man-Killer Barbie in the mail today?
Oh, you know, I actually think I can see her behind you.
Yeah, there it is.
She looks great.
Yeah, definitely. And she was an activist leader. Wilma Man-Killer was the first woman principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, and she's on a quarter too. So we're totally excited to support that. And I bought that from Barbie, and here we are. Be able to give it away someday, but it's something that's pretty darn awesome. Hey, speaking of darn awesome, we have Dr. Stately on today, and we're going to wear him out. We're going to have him in for a couple of segments for sure. But before we get to Dr. Stately, why don't we get an update from Governor Evers of the great state of Wisconsin? Ho!
Hey there, Native Roots Radio. Governor Tony Evers here with my weekly update. Happy National Apprenticeship Week. Apprenticeship, as we know today, started right here in Wisconsin in 1911. Since then, our state's apprenticeship programs have enabled folks to earn while they learn with paid on-the-job training. With over 200 pathways in everything from healthcare to manufacturing to construction, our apprenticeship programs help folks start their careers in some of our state's most important industries and prepare them for 21st century family supporting jobs. I'm proud to share that for the second year in a row, we've seen a record number of individuals enrolled in our registered and youth apprenticeship programs, with more than 16,000 registered apprentices in our state alone, breaking last year's 20-year high. We made smart investments to address our workforce challenges, expand access to worker training and apprenticeships, and reduce barriers to work for folks across the state. In the budget I signed this summer builds on that work by providing another $7 million for our state's youth apprenticeship program. Folks, our state has faced significant workforce challenges for years. When you couple that with our historically low unemployment rate and record high workforce participation, we must do everything we can to recruit, train, and retain the next generation of workers. And that's exactly what we're going to keep doing. We'll keep working to maintain Wisconsin's positive economic momentum, strengthen partnerships with local employers that make these apprenticeship programs possible, and build the future we want for our workforce and for our state. Let's get to work, folks. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Robert, and Native Roots Radio.
Thank you, Governor Evers, for that update. Hey, Haley, it's always good to hear from the governor and get his updates.
It is, yes. We're very thankful for Governor Tony Evers of Wisconsin.
Hey, speaking of a really big shot that we know, Dr. Stately's on and he's in the bullpen. Let's grab him. And he's got some cool lighting, it looks like. And we have Dr. Stately, the CEO of Native American Community. Community Clinic. And good to see you and good to hear from you.
Jeez, I just chewed you out the other day for saying the name of my organization wrong the other day. You remember at the Native Rise event? I was just teasing him.
I know. I'm pretending I don't remember that conversation. That was a good time, wasn't it?
It was awesome. It was really nice. I'm glad I went. I wasn't gonna go, but because I got a ticket at the last minute, and it was a long week for me. My kids had hockey tryouts, so just every day racing back and forth, getting them from school, getting them to the rink, getting my tryouts. I don't know. Just it was a long week, so I was like, I don't know if I want to go. But I went, and I was really happy I did. Exciting.
Yeah, I got there too. Last minute invite, and we should do that everything because we both had really good seats.
Yeah, that's going to be my new thing in 2024. I'm just going to crash all the parties. I'm not going to officially register.
Right.
I'm happy for you guys. I heard it was a fun time.
It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. It was like really like it was a full house. And what was the best part? The best part was that they had one of those old-fashioned silent auctions. And I was intending to eat my dinner rapidly and go back to the auction right before it closed at 7:30. And here we weren't even getting our food until 7:30. So that plan got dashed. But this is the way you win those silent auctions. You wait until the last minute. You go around, you write your name at the last second as the bell is about to ring.
What did you get?
I didn't get anything. I didn't want anything. I didn't go back. By the time they served our food, it was already 7:30. I remember Trish Cook saying something right about the time the chicken came. It was she's like, the silent auction is about to close. I was like, oh well, there you go.
There was a dance after, right, though, too?
Yeah.
There was actually, and I actually owe them actually, I should take care of that today. I owe the Dr. Boba and the OIC a donation. I walked up to Trish Cook. You remember those shoes she was wearing? They were like 8-inch.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, like from the 80s, or they're glam shoes anyway. I was like, I bet you can't dance in those things, can you? And she said, sure I can. I said, if you get out there and dance, I'll make a donation to OIC. And somebody, this other lady was, I'll match it. So I was like, okay. So,
Well, I thought you owed them money because you went out there to dance, and it was,
oh yeah, like I'm paying them. What do you call it, for pain and suffering?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my restitution. Sorry for the damages.
Well, I've never been on the 50th floor of the IDS building in Minneapolis. That was scary for me. The older I get, Dr. Stately, the more I don't like heights. Isn't that crazy? And before, when I was younger, I didn't care.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Did you
out
the
window.
Were you like going up to the window looking out?
Yeah, and holding on to something so I wouldn't fall through, or I don't know.
What did you think was going to happen?
I didn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting. I too am not a huge fan of heights, but I've been on that. That was my second time up there. I went to the last time I was there was Thanksgiving Day, 14 years ago. So
wow.
Yeah, I took my whole family, my kids, and everybody to Thanksgiving dinner up there. That was back when they had the restaurant operational. I don't think they have the restaurant operational anymore. So,
well,
but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, and let's take a break. And I just have to say this about our lieutenant governor. Whenever she speaks, she inspires me, and I'm not even kidding. She is just funny.
She did. Yeah. She did a phenomenal job that night, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, in fact, I was the only one that stood up and clapped, and I was like, no one's standing up.
I couldn't get my camera fast enough to get a picture of you standing up, but I noticed that. But I started the standing ovation when she came in.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Hey, it's Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. We're here with Dr. Stately of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, the CEO, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Unveil the captivating world of native photography at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Their new exhibit, In Our Hands, Native Photography 1890 to Now, turns the camera around and puts native photographers in control, featuring hundreds of photographs captured by generations of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and Native Americans. You'll view the world through their lens, revealing the beauty and complexity of Indigenous heritage. Don't miss this incredible experience. Visit In Our Hands at the Minneapolis Institute of Art now through January 14th. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
Let Next Chapter Booksellers help you with your holiday shopping. Next Chapter Booksellers has the perfect gift ideas. Books make for easy, thoughtful gifts that are a breeze to wrap and ship. And if you're not sure what book to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at recommendations for any age and taste. Explore their wide selection of puzzles and games for interactive family fun. And if you're still stumped, then try a Next Chapter Booksellers gift card. That's Next Chapter Booksellers in St. Paul. your destination for easy to give gifts.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. This is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do. And we're here with the lead tradition guy, the CEO of Native American Community Clinic, Dr. Stately. And Dr. Stately, that's we were having a little audio problems here on my end, and you were a little distorted. So now I can have a coherent conversation with you. And one of the things, it was a great show, I thought, Native Rise, and it was a fundraiser. And we got to listen to one of the actors, Kara, who was in The Killers of the Flower Moon. Dr. Hobart spoke, and he was the head MC, Lieutenant Governor. And then this author that I've been playing tag with, who works for the Minneapolis paper, Eddie, he was awesome. And we're going to get him on the show really quick.
Chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He he interviewed me. Oh God, I think it was probably maybe like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I think, around the time of the Wall of Forgotten Natives. So yeah, and he was a very good. He's an excellent reporter, and he's I haven't gotten his book yet, but he should have brought his book to the event and like signed them. Yeah, I haven't gotten his book yet, but I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna intend to read it. I'm actually on vacation, which is something that hardly almost never happens. So I'm on vacation this week and next week, where I'm technically on vacation, meaning I'm, for a CEO, what that means is you're burning down your PTO. You're actually just not going in the office. But I've been working. I'm taking like the minimum number of meetings. But one of the things I want to do on my vacation, in addition to taking a really nice bath, the bubble bath I did today, which is nice self-care, I'm going to go see a couple of movies that no one else wants to see, so I have to see them by myself. It's the perfect way to spend some time. Yeah.
Which ones are those?
Yeah.
I'm going to go see Saltburn, which is supposed to be an amazing film. It's kind of like, it's hard to explain. It's about a sort of it takes place in England, and it's it has to do with like these two guys who are in college together. This very wealthy guy takes this his roommate or a friend of his from college back to his family's castle which is called Saltburn. Anyway, it's supposed to be amazing. It's by a director who I just really, really loved. Her last movie that I saw, A Most Promising Woman, which was also a remarkable film. But anyway, I can go see that because it's a little bit. I don't know a lot of people that want to see it. Like, I don't. So I'll go by myself, which is fine. And then there's a couple other movies I want to see. So I'm going to go to that film or that photography exhibit at the MIA, probably.
Yeah.
Like the day after Thanksgiving, probably.
Yeah, I got to make it out there too. Maybe we can try and go at the same time. One of the things that you just mentioned too, we both talk about this and sometimes really seriously over the show, and I really appreciate it, Dr. Stately, is our sobriety. And I know when I first sobered up, I was given advice like, if you're not feeling good or something, do something different. And taking a bath was one of those things that really helped me. That was pretty interesting that you said that. I took a bath last night and usually shower, and it's changing up, but also self-care. And that made me think of that.
Yeah, changing up your routine. Yeah. Yep.
It's neuro pathways that create habits and addictions and patterns that people tend to go back to. It's all about changing those neural pathways and creating better habits.
I remember when well, I won't tell people how I actually quit smoking because it's kind of a funny story. But I remember back in like 30 years ago when I first stopped smoking, how I would be like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I remember somebody telling me like, well, do you smoke in the car when you go to work? And I was like, yeah, well, try not to smoke in the car. And I'm like, and it was remarkable. This actually changed for me. I stopped smoking in my car that time, but he was just like, it was a psychologist or a therapist I was saying, he's like, just take a different route to work. He's like, so much of your pattern of like lighting up, sparking up your cigarette and like smoking when you're driving is as much of just a pattern of habit as it is anything else. It's like second thought, secondhand nature kind of thing. Which is interesting because when I noticed when I deliberately took a different route to work, which in Los Angeles is a big thing. Because you never know, traffic is completely unpredictable. But it changed. Actually, I had to pay closer attention. I wasn't really like, like driving and forgetting how I got there, that kind of thing. Has that ever happened to anybody? It's like, I'm like, oh, I don't remember how I got here. And it's because you're driving the same way that you always get there. If it's something that you do repetitively, it's almost like you do it second without even thinking about it. So similarly, that's how you change some of those habits, is you with intention and kind of disrupt the pattern. You change the thing that you're doing to try to make yourself be more mindful and attentive to what you're doing. And that actually helps you to rewire your brain. Kind of a simple process, but shortcut, it's probably easier than mindfulness.
Yeah. Well, that's what you were saying.
Meditation.
That's what you were saying, Haley, about the rewiring. It takes 28 days to change a habit. That's why people go into treatment for 28 days.
Exactly. Yeah. And I get to be a part of the sober crew because I am sober from alcohol. I think I'm 280 days. So I'm waiting on my 1 year still, but we're going to get there.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
We'll give you a medallion. I got a whole bunch of them here. It might be like a 32-year medallion, but I got one for you.
That's awesome.
And
you're young. You're getting sober when you're a fairly young person. I got sober when I was 23. It was tough because I didn't know a whole lot of people at that age that were drinking when I went to or using substances. And when I went to meetings that was filled with a bunch of old crotchety men who complained about their lives and like whined about everything. And that's my perception. And I remember having this thought where I was like, oh my God, if this is what it's going to be like to be sober, I think I'd rather be drunk, kind of thing. I remember saying that to myself. But you have to, like, somebody wise said to me, like, go to different meetings, go to several different meetings till you find the one that you feel at home, and then you feel like you belong, like you fit. Because you're not gonna find the right one right off the bat. Most of the time you won't. So you can kind of just be open to exploring. That's awesome.
Right.
Congratulations, Haley.
There's 5,000 meetings in the Twin City area, and if you can't find one that fits, then it's hard. I know I was lucky. It was like the second wave of young people, and so I was hanging with a lot of young people when I sobered up. I also sobered up when I was 23, and that saved me. A friend of mine who went back out, I contact him every year. I just celebrated 39 years in November 9th, and thank him for saving my life. Because of what you're saying, Dr. Stately, it's like, is this going to be boring? I might as well go back to drink. And it wasn't. It was fun. We did a lot of the same things. And maybe the experts would have called that drunk behavior, but it still it got me. Just kept me sober.
Yeah, it's given me, I know there's a lot of people that don't feel that AA works for them. And I certainly felt that way when I was like, I think I first went to AA when I was 17 or so. So between 17 and 23, I would go in and out of meetings, and I had a lot of reasons for why it wouldn't work. And A lot of those were justifications as well. And I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, remember like when you, did you ever remember that experience when you would get so mad at somebody, you'd go out and get drunk at them? Like that was just a kind of a perpetual habit. It's like, I'm going to go get drunk at you because I'm so mad.
I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll show you.
I'll kill me.
Right. But it was like, it was hard. And it was like, but I stuck with it because the alternative for me was to not be around. Right. And you know, I quit drinking on October 27th, 1985. And that was the day that was the last day I drank. And I wrapped my car around a light pole on 29th and Lindale. And almost died in that car accident. And so, you know, I woke up in the hospital the next day and a little voice said to my ear, like, if you drink and again, you're going to die. And I believed it and I listened to it and I haven't taken another drink since. So.
Proud of you, Dr. Stately.
That's amazing. It's totally amazing. And I know I wouldn't be alive if I wouldn't have sobered up, and I'm 62, and a lot of our relatives have gone on because of trauma and drinking, and so your inspiration, and I appreciate you speaking your truth. Let's do another segment here. This one flew by, and it was really good. So, hey, it usually is, right? Hey, we're here with Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and we'll be right back after this short break, Haley.
Stay with us.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Be a vaccinative. As the fall season continues, new COVID-19 variants threaten the health of not just you, but our elders as well. These new variants might even evade previous vaccines. That's why it's important to stay up to date. The newly authorized vaccines target current variants effectively and are FDA approved for ages 6 months and older. But there is an important note. These are the first COVID vaccines to be commercialized, which means there may be costs associated with them. Speak with your health insurer about your coverage before scheduling an appointment to avoid a surprise bill. For those without health insurance, help is available. Ask your health clinic about options or visit vaccines.gov for free locations. Getting vaccinated protects you from severe disease. Don't put yourself or elders at risk. So be a vaccinative and protect our community. You can visit vaccines.gov for free vaccine locations.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Lewis Black, Goodbye Yeller Brick Road, the final tour.
Look, to allow QAnon to run amok, they're nuts, okay? And I don't give a if your cousin's in QAnon and you don't think he's nuts. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I know cray-cray when I See ya.
Lewis Black, live on stage in the Mystic Showroom Friday, April 26th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at the Mystic box office or online at mysticlake.com. For more, visit lewisblack.com.
Temperatures are cooling off and fall migration is underway. Do you know what that means? Eagle viewing season is almost here, and the National Eagle Center is your headquarters for information and experiences. This winter, experience bald and golden eagles in the wild with an unforgettable expert-led field trip. Plan your private eagle habitat tour and learn where the best eagle viewing is with weekly eagle counts. Plus, you can visit the eagles at the center all season long. Plan your visit or experience today online at nationaleaglecenter.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Overnight, a chance of rain with a low of 37, then cloudy on Tuesday with a high of 41. Make this holiday season extra magical with an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant or food purveyor. Perfect for all occasions from family to friends to work gatherings. Visit eatlocalminnesota.com to see the list of restaurants and food purveyors. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awakened. This is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we're back here with Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities. Now, you got me thinking, Dr. Stately, after you told me I kept on introducing you incorrectly. Now I'm like pausing. The mind is a funny thing, isn't it?
That's a psychological, what do you call it, strategy.
Strategy?
Just kidding.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I did what your aunties would do is I chewed you out in front of a bunch of people and make you change your behavior. Yeah.
And then we took a picture. I'm the only one going, huh? Everyone else is smiling.
Yeah. It was a fun night. I thought it was really cool that Kara talked about her own experience of growing up with trauma and her own experiences of having, she talked openly about having a mental health disorder, struggling with bipolar disorder and depression. Talked about how she used substances to sort of, basically treat herself, heal herself or manage her symptoms. And I love that when she was talking about hanging out with, what is it, Leo, Bob, and who was the
Marty?
Oh yeah, Marty. It was so funny.
Marty?
She's like it's on first name basis with those big megastars. How she talked about I don't want this character to be like portrayed as a drunken Indian. I want her to be strong. I want her to exude, like her drinking is a symptom of dealing with colonial impact, trauma, all the trauma that's related to that, all of the violence and the impact that had on her life. And I love that she talked about that because that is, something we don't even see a whole lot in modern conversations about Native people. And,
Right.
So, yeah.
We're talking about Kara Jade Myers, and she's played Annie Brown in Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, and she was the guest speaker. And like you said, Dr. Stately, very powerful and good messages. And geez, this time of the year with the sun going down and holidays coming, I mean, it's good to hear things like that.
Good reminders, right? Because this is a challenging time for a lot of our relatives because we go into this time of year, it gets darker, and it's colder outside, so we kind of tend to stay indoors and hibernate. We're doing the hibernation bit, so we're not being as social. But also, if we have histories or backgrounds of traumatic things in our lives or in our families or in our communities, those things can be triggers for us during this time. So it's actually the worst time of year, and that's that worst time to sort of kind of be isolated and by yourself. So if it's a challenging time, try to spend some time with friends, go to movies, go to meetings, go to do something to kind of change up what you normally would do, and seek support and try to get be around other people who will make you feel or help you to feel like you matter, because sometimes we can get so down and depressed, like we feel like nobody cares, that we don't matter, right?
That's something too that I was taught early on is and I did that with friends in the beginning of my sobriety. Is we would go out and we'd help feed people and do things to make us feel useful and worthwhile, and those times that could be dark or you're used to doing destructive things during these holidays is go out and help somebody and don't be found out. That's what I was always told.
Yeah, it's a good practice. These are the things that we were given to us anyway, original instructions, right? Be a good neighbor to each other, be a good relative, take care of others. If you take care of others, you'll be taken care of as well. And it's also so I try to remember those things. I've this week I will do things to be around other people, because I won't be able to be with some of my family. And I'll be here at home with my sons, who I can't ever go anywhere. I can't ever travel on Thanksgiving weekend, because they're hockey players, and I don't, for whatever reason, Minnesotans are crazy. They have Thanksgiving and then they start playing hockey the day after Thanksgiving for 4 days straight, which is just kind of crazy making, I think. So,
Dr. Stately, were you a skier, a downhill skier at any time in your life?
Never.
Yeah.
I have cross country skied. Downhill skiing looks really dangerous, and it looks like and I don't know, just call me crazy, but if Creator wanted me to go downhill skiing, I would have been born with logs attached to my feet.
Yeah. Well, I used to go skiing every Thanksgiving, and look at where we're at right now. It's like 50 degrees out and global
Oh
warming.
God, yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, I remember having the big meal and going to the slopes, Afton Alps and all those slopes when I was young and agile. Now I break a hip, of course. I don't do that, but it's just the weather has changed too. It made me think about that.
Yeah,
All
it's
those
just
slopes for
weird.
you, yeah.
Oh, Haley,
Yeah.
the young one will hit the slopes. Make sure you wear a helmet because I need you.
Yeah, are you where are you gonna go skiing at?
I grew up, in junior high. I was in ski club, so we always went to Wild Mountain. I grew up in Forest Lake, so just north of the Twin Cities area. So we would go to Wild Mountain a lot. In Taylor's Falls, or Trollhagen was another big one, but that's out in Wisconsin.
Well, we're broadcast in Wisconsin too on 20 stations in the Civic Media Network. I just wanted to throw that out there. Oh,
Yeah,
when I used to live
who knows
in
when the snow is going to come.
when I used to live in LA, I would tell people about the mountains we had, Afton Hills, and the mountains we had in Minnesota to ski on there, and they would just kind of chuckle at me. Those are not mountains. I was like, I know, but, mountains, Josh.
They're called mountains.
I just watched that new documentary that came out on Netflix about the ski resort, the Aspen one around Lake Tahoe.
Oh yeah,
Avalanche killed up those people. Wow, I never knew about that. Do you know about that, Dega?
Yes, I do. I lived through it. I lived through history. That's why I was so good going back to school, especially when I was taking history classes. Like I lived through it, so I could write. I didn't have to study. Oh,
nice.
He taught history from a first person experience.
Yeah. Me and Teddy Roosevelt. Rough Riders.
Jeez. You and Teddy Roosevelt.
Right.
And his wife Eleanor.
No, that was Franklin.
Oh yeah. Oh, the different Roosevelt.
That was Teddy's.
Yeah. Teddy was like in the 1800s, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was president in 1901. But
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
he saved all the parks out there, which was pretty amazing. But it's weird. Those guys came over. I was reading an article. They came over in the Mayflower, their family, and here's Franklin Roosevelt like marrying his second cousin, which is just totally bizarre to me. But
It's a little Appalachian. Oh, sorry. Did I say that? Oh my God.
Where's my dinner, 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 dinner?
Or actually, well, it's like I don't know. I know some Indians that have done that.
Yeah.
They've married their cousins, or they've like maybe not married them. They had children with them. It reminds me of that movie from Mean Girls. Remember that movie Mean Girls? You got your cousins, then you got your second cousins, then you got your kissing cousins.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, Karen.
Yeah, it's Karen. The one that has ESPN. That one, yeah.
Yeah, ESPN.
My favorite movie. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
well written. Definitely well acted. What else? What else is there? Helplines or what can
There are, and one of the things I would say is that what you would do is, like, if you were struggling and you were thinking specifically, if you're thinking like suicidal thoughts, like now nationwide, there's now the 988 number.
Right.
Right. So 988, you would get connected with a live person to talk to and get some support and some help. And I think one of the things I was actually on a national call not too long ago with Indian Country News, I think, Native, whatever it is called, Native American Calling. We were talking about suicidality and such. And one of the things that I kind of like always take the time to remind people of is that suicide, by and large, while Native people, and it isn't true of all Native nations, but across the United States, we have a significantly higher rate of suicide than other communities. Some of that has, I think, to do with like specifically within like tribal communities where there's like nations where there's large disparate or the people are dispersed all over the place, and there's not anybody that you can kind of get to easily, and you can't spend time with each other or find a resource. They're like rural, desolate areas. So having a national call line that you can call would be really helpful. But also, like, there's online on Facebook and a bunch of other social media platforms. There's there's groups that you can kind of connect with that are support groups for people who are living in situations where they don't have a lot of access. Maybe they don't live in a big city or a town where there's resources, but they will be able to connect with some people online. So looking for those things is really important. And if it's something that you notice that you kind of fairly regularly, consistently have this experience where you're feeling so down, so depressed and suicidal and having thoughts of harming yourself, reach out and talk to somebody and let them know and say that I need to talk to somebody because I feel like I'm going to kill myself or hurt myself. And if you're the person that's on the other end of that, take that statement serious and take action. So, and there's lots of resources online for that.
Well, there's Strong Hearts Native Helpline too that I just want to give out. So that number too, they are 24/7. You can call, text, or chat them. Strong Hearts Native Helpline at 1-844-7-NATIVE. That's 1-844-762-8483, or chat online at www.strongheartshelpline.org.
Right on. Hey, we'll be right back. We're here with Dr. Stately, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Back to school season is here. And while this is an exciting time for parents, kids, and educators, let's not forget how far we've come in our battle against COVID-19. We're in a better place, but COVID-19 is still here, and we need to continue to help protect our communities. With the flurry of new schedules and classrooms, let's not overlook the fundamentals of staying safe. Wash your hands regularly and watch for any symptoms like fever, chills, a cough, or shortness of breath. Should you or someone you know have COVID-19 symptoms, stay home and get tested. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. Let's have this back-to-school season be a time of renewed commitment to our collective health and brighter future for our Native communities. Again, find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, we're here with Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and we're just having our Monday chit chat and talking about real issues and real things in a fun way. We're going to have Gary Farmer on next week, Dr. Stately, and it's fun.
Really?
Well, now that the strike's over, we can reach out to our actor friends and have them come on and talk about their projects in the past and future. And he's a big time musician too, so we'll be talking a lot about his music.
He's awesome. He's a great actor.
Yeah. We just watched Smoke Signals, probably me for my 100th time, but Haley and I just
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah,
It was good. I cried.
You know, I had to watch that movie like 3 or 4 times before I realized, like, you know, that line that he says in the movie where he's like,
"Yep, I know what you're gonna say." I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, or that line where he goes, like,
I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to, and I was like, so I missed the sort of the subcontext context there a couple of times. And I was like, oh, because I was like, yeah. Anyway, I had that, like, I was like, wow, I'm really thick. I didn't catch that the first time. First 3
It
or
was
4
funny.
times.
Yeah, just to set everybody up, and Haley thought it was cool too. And sounds like you're eating cashews over there, Dr. Stately. And I think our radio fans are loving it. Hey, he saved Thomas, threw him out the window and saved him. And his grandmother came up to him and said, "You saved Thomas. You did a good thing." And he said, I didn't mean to. And at the time, it's a funny line because that's a weird way to answer it. But then we find out later that he set the fire. So it's like,
Yeah, an accident. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway,
I know.
I didn't put those two things together until I saw it, like, I think the 3rd or 4th time. But I remember when I first saw that movie. I saw it at whatever the theater was on Lake Street and Lindale. There was like a little art house theater there way back in the day. This was back in like I probably would think like the
came out in
98. 98, so that's probably like when I saw it. And I went to see it with my nieces Natchez and Deanna, my brother Charlie's daughters. I took them. I was home for Thanksgiving, I think, and we went to go see it, and we're sitting in the theater, and you know, it was uptown, so like there wasn't a lot of Native people in that audience. There was like us and a couple of, you know, cool hipsters from the uptown and a bunch of other like white people. And at one point I realized like me and my nieces are the only ones that are laughing every 3 minutes because we're getting the humor, right? And and I was just thinking about how you know, when you were talking about Gary Farmer and his role in Res Dogs, about like how that sort of like seems to have changed over the last 20-30 years, is that, you know, we have so much more Native art, Native movies, and Native TV shows, and we have so much more happening in that space that it seems like more white people get our humor now. You know, we're making such an impact on the social the social context in so many ways, like mostly through social media, probably those kinds of things that they're getting what we mean when we say when we say the kinds of things that we say. Right.
Well, like the Res car, Dr. Stately, it took me many times to see the movie before I realized that same person that was in the car was on Northern Exposure for 9 years. I just put 2 and 2 together for some odd reason. That was a great show back in the day about Alaska, and she was the only Alaskan native on the show.
Yeah.
But she was on every show.
Yeah. Do you watch? Speaking of natives in Alaska, do you watch Alaska Daily at all?
No.
It's a movie that stars Hilary Swank and a number of native actors. It's about a newspaper.
TV show. Yeah. It's canceled, but it's on only a year. Yeah.
I know. I'm so upset that it was canceled because I really like that show a lot, and you know, they were taking MMIW head on in that movie or in that TV show.
Right.
You know? So yeah.
And here's another smoke signals thing. We had I can't think of his name, Gray Eyes. We had him on Native Roots Radio, and when he was the head casino guy on Rutherford Falls. And I did not realize that he was in a scene in Smoke Signals when they were playing basketball in the beginning. He was one of the basketball players, and they were talking about who's your favorite Indian basketball, or who's your favorite Indian is what he said.
Yeah. All those guys. And then one of the things I liked about Flowers, like Killers of the Flower Moon, is that Tatanka Meanson's in it.
Yeah.
I kind of met him a few times, and my nephew Ruben knows him really well. And so, like, we're sitting in the movie, and all of a sudden, I'm like, and again, when we went to go see Killers of the Flower Moon, it was like, you know, 9:00 at night on like a Wednesday, and it's a 3-hour movie, so there's like nobody in the theater but me and my sister, and like maybe one other person. And I'm like, oh my God, look at Tatanka Means, that's him. The other FBI agent guy. So yeah.
He was prominent in the book. He was talked about in the book quite a bit, that character.
Yeah. I would tell people, like, if you saw the movie and you love the movie, I'd go back and read the book, because the book was really quite good. I read that book in 3 days. The 3 days, that first week I was sick with COVID, I read it like in 3 days. So, yeah.
So, Dr. Stately, it's that time of year again. I always quiz Haley, and she doesn't guess correctly, but it's that time of year to sign up for MNsure. And
actually, you're right. It is. It's November. It's open enrollment, right?
Yeah. So, Haley, what's that website to help all our relatives out there?
Yes. So if you're not sure what type of health insurance you're going to need going into this next year, you can head over to minsure.org, and they will help you find an affordable plan that best fits your needs.
Wow. Minsure.com, right?
Yeah.
.org.
Minsure.com. Is it a .org? I thought it was a dot. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure the Googles will help, but just to put that out in front for everyone.
Yeah, and also some people don't know how to navigate that website very well, and so one of the things they can do is they can also come to the Native American Community Clinic or another community health center within the Twin Cities or in the state of Minnesota. And those of you who live in Western Wisconsin or Woodbury, I kind of call them, they're the same thing. You can go to a community health center, and they'll help you enroll, and they'll help you get enrolled in health insurance. It's really important to have health insurance because, more people are likely to go to the doctor. It's the one thing that keeps so many people from going in for routine care. And routine care is where we catch a lot of the conditions that will end up becoming more urgent and acute later. So,
yeah, I hear that so often. I had a friend of mine who broke his collarbone, and they found out he had throat cancer. I mean, and they would never have found that out. Things like that. You hit that right on, Dr. Stately. Hey, we got a minute left, and I know there's friends of mine out there that are getting COVID again. There's an update. I think I'm not sure if it was the state where I read, or they're giving out free test kits again, and I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can look it up on the internet. There's Minnesota is giving away free test kits again. You can sign up for them online, and they'll arrive in the mail. I ordered some last week from Amazon, and they arrived in a couple of days. And it's really important to do that because it is going around. It is very, very contagious. And myself, I've had it. A couple other family members have had it. I've had no people that have gotten it, it's not going to necessarily make you as sick, perhaps. But one true fact, Minnesota and across the country, Native people continue to have the highest rate of infections, highest rate of hospitalizations, and the highest rate of death. And the majority number of the people who are dying are over the age of 65. So our elders, the people that have our knowledge about our language and our culture, these are important things to preserve. So do your part by getting a vaccine and also wearing a mask when you're indoors and you're people who are vulnerable.
Absolutely. That's a great way to end it. Dr. Stately, really, really appreciate you coming in. We have a lot of fun, but there's a lot of seriousness in our actions, and you do a great job. And your community clinic is the gold standard across the country. So I really appreciate you stopping on. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier.
Now.
Crooner's Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music.